following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lord. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Heckma Harrison, Rob Phillips, and Kyle Yeomans.
It's been a 2 full weeks since I've been able to say this, but ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to Say It With Your Chest Friday on Talkin Cowboys. We're back and better than ever after the bye week and after a shuffle of shows. We're now back with some Say It With Your Chest as we've got plenty to talk about whenever it comes to Dallas and Minnesota, the travel to take on the Vikings, the quest, I should say, to take on the Vikings up north coming up on Sunday. We'll break that game down, kind of lead you into that, and then, of course, we'll say it with our chest like we do every single Friday, and we'll give some predictions at the end of the show. If you have any fan questions, send them in on the Periscope stream or tag us on Twitter. Kyle Yeomans alongside Isaiah Stanback. We've got the great Rob Phillips, as always, and then the incredible Heckma Harrison up in the top right-hand corner. Guys, it's Friday. Are you feeling better about this Friday than you have in the past? You feel rested? You feel a certain sort of relief, the fact that you finally get to see some more Cowboys football coming up this week, Rob?
I'm always ready. Always ready. I think we're all refreshed. I think we all feel better about this team than we did 2 weeks ago. Is that fair? I don't know. I'm going to throw that to the panel.
There was such a question on better there. There was a huge question mark. Better?
But the octave,
Better?
though, the octave that his voice went up is what shocked me. I want to feel better. I want to feel better about it, but is Rob still going through puberty? Is what I need to know.
That sounded very similar to Ron Burgundy.
Little anchor man.
Do we feel better about this team 2 weeks ago when we last had a Say It With Your Chest Friday, though, Heckma?
Look, man, I will not admit that. I know it's Say It With Your Chest Friday, but you're not going to corner me in on that one, man. We're on a 4-game slide, so I'm like a lot of fans that were like during the bye week, oh God, thank you. We can take a deep breath. That's my Rob impersonation. We can take a deep breath because the team isn't playing. You know, I want to see him in action. I thought the bye week was timely for these guys, and hopefully they've gotten an opportunity to self-evaluate, and they're much better.
Yeah, I feel good about it, Kyle. I feel good about these guys right now. I think I'm probably the only person that I've heard all week that says that I don't like the location of the bye week. Mm-hmm. I wish it would have been a little bit later or earlier, simply because of the momentum, obviously, and we've spoken extensively on that. But I feel better about these guys, man. I feel like they're gaining confidence. I think that they're starting to remember who they are as individuals, and I think they're starting to play better collectively as teams. So, number one, you can't be a good team if you don't have confidence in yourself and your play. And then number two, you can't be a good team if you don't have any continuity with the guys that you play next to. So I think that all those things are starting to come together. This team that's coming in here is tough, and it's going to be a challenge. But let's talk about it.
Well, you're right. Let's talk about it. You mentioned two words there. One of them was confidence, and the other one was continuity. And I feel like neither one of those were available early in the season, or at least apparent early in the season whenever it came to the Cowboys, especially on the defensive side of the football. I could argue that the confidence, continuity there was there offensively all along. But, Isaiah, it seems like those two things also equal a little bit of swagger. But who is to be rewarded for that, or who is to be praised for the turnaround whenever it comes to finally figuring out a little bit of swagger on that side of the football? Is it the coaching staff? Is it the players? Where do we go and point the finger to in a positive manner to say, hey, we do feel better about this team, and here's why?
I don't think not one person gets all the credit. I think it starts at the top, obviously with Jerry and his crew, recognizing that their project and their investments that they made this offseason just wouldn't work, so they cut their ties. They took the L on that, and they got rid of Poe, and they got rid of Griffin. So number one, that was a win. I don't think that they understood and maybe they did, but from my outside looking in, I don't think that they understood the effect that would have internally in the organization inside the locker room. It freed up these guys to go out there and play, free on the defensive line. They gave these guys free reign. They didn't feel like they had to live up to anybody's expectations. They didn't feel like they had to be underneath somebody else's umbrella. I can go out there and I can play like I played in college, and we saw that resurrect itself last week or the week before last when we played Pittsburgh. So you saw a little bit of that, and now just the continuity side of things, that's coming together simply because these guys are starting to get more familiar with their coaches. We've talked a extensive amount about their lack thereof ability to work together this offseason, to be able to work with this brand new coaching staff. Let's not forget the fact that these no excuses, they got to figure it out, but they didn't have the whole offseason. So if you think about it, around this time, this is about the time we would expect them to start trying to figure things out, because around this would have been the amount of time they had during the offseason program. So they're figuring that aspect out, and they're starting to realize what their responsibilities are. They're starting to understand how well they play together, communication, all those things come together, and that's when the continuity comes together. So all in all, everybody gets a little bit of credit.
Bars.
That was good. Yeah, spitting it.
He said that.
Yeah.
He said that. Nah, he didn't have to do. I mean, there it is.
Heckma?
No, I mean, he said it all. I mean, I feel like this team, the more time they get together, the more you start to see all of the things that would have been developing had they had an off season. Just the defensive continuity, being able to understand the scheme. Offensively, we shouldn't expect for any continuity at this point because of the amount of injuries that we've had on the offensive line and also at quarterback. So we're just trying to find our footing, and hopefully this is the game where you start to see a lot of those things start to happen. So I'm like everybody else, man. I want to see this team that is on a 4-game losing streak take that next step to start getting some quality victories.
Let me clear my throat real quick. 1, 2, 1, 2.
I'm a real boy.
All righty. What you guys said, absolutely. I think Mike McCarthy spoke about this on The Fan this morning, that they're not, and I think we're talking mostly about the defense. I think special teams wise, they're as consistent as anybody on the team right now. I think they're just John Fossil's concepts and everything, his system is coming into place. I think with the defense, Mike McCarthy spoke to it. They're just cutting it loose. They're playing more free. I think, and DeMarcus Lawrence kind of called things out a couple games ago. They're playing with pride. I think they just have a better understanding of what they're supposed to do, and it's allowing them to play faster. And if you make a mistake, fine, keep going. Don't let it affect the next play and the next play. I think that's the biggest thing. But we talked about it earlier in the week. This is a test. This is an absolute test this week for the defense, a bigger test, arguably, than even Pittsburgh's offense a couple weeks ago, just of what Dalvin Cook brings to the table, and really just the way Minnesota's playing right now. There's an ugly game against Chicago, but 3 wins in a row. They're really playing well right now and doing what they need to do to win games. So I'm fascinated to see how they handle this matchup.
I like that question, and I'm gonna steal that from you, Rob. Is this a bigger test this week from a defensive standpoint? I think offensively you might take a step back from Pittsburgh to Minnesota, but I would agree with Rob in saying that Dalvin Cook and the matchups that are on the outside with Adam Thielen and with Justin Jefferson, those two are more likely to have success against this defense. But do you think that's the same way, Isaiah? Do you think that's a different and more impressive test with Minnesota this week?
I do believe that Minnesota presents a larger what's the word I'm trying to find? I think definitely this week is a bigger task for our defense than the previous week. The reason why Pittsburgh is a better team overall. Let's not even get this confused. Mm-hmm. Pittsburgh's a really good team, which is why they're doing what they're doing. However, they don't have their running game figured out right now, right? And we had to, take care of that. Obviously, still had to defend the run, but primarily we had to worry about Roethlisberger and all his weapons in the receiving corps. That's an easier task than trying to stop the run. And the reason why I feel like this is a tougher task for us is because of the scheme that these guys run. These guys run a zone running scheme. A zone running scheme, zone teams are very, 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 very patient. Like very patient. Like they will literally run the ball for 2 quarters, 3 quarters in a row, not getting much, just for that big opportunity down when you're not being as disciplined. And that's where I question. That's where I'm a little bit hesitant in terms of my confidence in our ability to be effective in this game, because I don't know if we're confident enough to trust our techniques, if we're confident enough to trust our schemes, if we're confident enough to trust our teammates to be where they're going to be and do what they're supposed to do. And when you're not confident in those things is when you get outside of your scheme, and that's when things open up and big plays are allowed for.
Yeah, totally.
Ekma?
Yeah, time of possession. Yeah, time of possession is going to be a big part of this game, and that's what Minnesota does really well because they are so overly committed to running the ball. And so every possession for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be very important because, again, if you get behind the 8 ball and they can run the ball for a quarter and a half, and next thing you know, you're down 14 points and you had but one possession. So that's the big part about this. But I also believe that when you talk about Minnesota, I think you are starting to look at the fact that they started so poorly. But you have to give credit to the way that these guys have kind of circled the wagons and started to play together over the last 3 games. This 3-game winning streak for them has been huge. You talk about confidence as a team. That's what it's given them, knowing that they've had some injuries at some key positions. So it's almost like the Cowboys should look at what Minnesota has done and mirror that, because that is what has been their success. Just getting some quality wins, getting some victories, one after another. And no matter how ugly it is a dub, and they got it. So that's important in this game when you talk about Minnesota, for sure.
It's going to be tough.
And I think they struggle early too, heck, because they had a lot of young guys, man. They got a ton of young guys playing, so it makes sense that they struggle early. But it also makes sense why they're starting to play so much better now, because those guys have that experience under their belt.
And I think
absolutely.
Go for it, Heckman.
No, I agree with you, but at the same time, when we were talking yesterday about the names on defense not having those first rounders like a lot of the teams, like the Washington football team, Arizona, other teams that we have played, but still, man, they collectively play really good play really well together as a defense. Even with those young guys on the outside, they're really solid in the center of their defense. So it's going to be a test for us, no matter how you look at it. But on the offensive side of the ball, for Minnesota, Kirk Cousins, if you just allow him to give Dalvin Cook the ball and get yardage there, then Kirk Cousins starts to look a lot better than what he is, because he can just dink and dunk down the field. With Kristoff.
Kristoff is Kyle Rudolph, for all those who didn't catch yesterday's show. That was really funny, so you should go back and watch it.
It killed me with that, man.
Now, Heckma, you mentioned the defense a little bit. I know we're mostly talking about the offensive matchups at this point, but I kind of want to shift over to the defense as well. And you and I had a conversation last night about Zimmer, and of course, he's a defensive-minded guy. He's a defensive guru, and a lot of people respect him across the league, and for good reason. He's put together some of the best defenses that really we've seen, even with minimal talent. But he's, like you said, had to deal with a thinner roster whenever it comes to injuries this season. The secondary is about as depleted as they come, but they're still giving up their worst scoring and total defense in the entire Zimmer era. Looking at some of these numbers, 27.5 points allowed per game. That's the worst since 2013. Zimmer was hired in 2014. Over 383 yards per game, worse since 2013. Completion percentage, passer rating, those are both higher than ever. Is this the worst defense we've seen from Zimmer as a head coach in Minnesota, Heckma? And does that make you feel a little bit better about the offensive matchup heading into the week?
Yeah, and I think, again, there are a lot of coaches in the NFL that you look at their numbers and historically where they've been, and you have to give some credit to the fact that they are coaching in a pandemic. We've never seen a Zimmer defense get off to this kind of start. And so you're seeing them, like Isaiah said, at this point in the season, certain things are starting to click, even with their youth movement. So what that they're going to present for us is that 2 deep Two safeties high. They're going to play that zone. They're going to play really well together. But what my worry is what they do with Harrison Smith. His ability to blitz from the outside and also bring their linebackers on the inside gaps to us as well. So the Cowboys offensively are going to have to play really well together. And if this word continuity means anything, it's going to have to apply this week, because you know that Vikings defense is going to give Andy Dalton fits.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Harrison Smith, Kendricks, they've still got veteran guys that can kind of hold this thing together around some of the young players they're having to play. I can't imagine Mike Zimmer ever starting two rookie corners in the same season in his career. I mean, he's used to having Terrence Newman and vet guys that have been around forever. But I think they're getting better. You know, you look at these last 3 games, you know, Chicago struggled offensively, but, 13 points. Detroit, 20 points. Green Bay, 22 points, even though that game was kind of weird. It was really windy. It was hard probably for Aaron Rodgers to get the ball down the field. But I think they're ascending, just kind of like the Cowboys are ascending, and a lot of it's just attributed to youth on their side of the ball.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've said it all. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing. I like Kendricks a lot. Smith is really good as well. Something about having a solid middle linebacker, man. Something about having a middle linebacker that just controls everything on that side of the ball is always a threat, whether he has his boy Barr on the side or not. Kendricks is a problem. He's a brick wall. He's smart. He's fast. Yeah, we got to bring our A game. So I'm looking forward to the challenge, though. It should be a good matchup.
It's going to be different. It's going to be something that the Cowboys are going to try and take advantage of on the outside. Whenever you've got 2 rookies out there, try and exploit it with Cameron Dantzler, who should be back from a concussion. He's back in practice for Minnesota, and then Jeff Gladney, a TCU product. I think these wide receivers might have a chance here. And we're going to talk about Andy Dalton a little bit more. We've talked about the debate ad nauseum about Andy Dalton or Garrett Gilbert. We're going to talk about what Andy Dalton has to do better this time around when we come back on the other side of the break. Stick with us. It's Say It With Your Chest Friday here on Talkin Cowboys.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Want to show your Texas and team pride too? You can. By purchasing your own Stetson, you can look just like how the flag guys do on field at every home game. Stetson hats, the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys and your favorite football team.
Get yours today at shop.dallascowboys.com or at stetson.com.
I'm Jay Novacek, former tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Back in the day, I was the guy who always got the tough yards, and that's why I run with John Deere today. In fact, I have a John Deere 3025E tractor that can handle any yard work I need to do, even the tough yards way out back. So if you have 1 acre or 1,000, John Deere has the equipment that's just right for you. Visit a John Deere dealer today and run with us. We are the official tractor provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
And we're talking about Star Wars in the middle of the break instead of talking Cowboys here on a Say It With Your Chest Friday. I guess if we're going to say it with our chest, we can talk about Star Wars too if we really need to. I mean, we're
all about Disney on this show. We make Frozen references.
I love it, man.
Frozen.
I know who you don't.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Hey, let me say this, guys. I know.
Show.
Yeah, absolutely. But we know who you don't ask to bring the deviled eggs to Thanksgiving dinner, and that's Baby Yoda.
Nope, don't do that. Yep, they won't show up.
That is not the way. That is not the way.
That annoyed me so much. I thought that was such an annoyance in that show. Anyways, whether you're watching from home,
he's an OG though. That last one.
Yeah, well, let me get through this with Essilor Reed. Whether you're watching from home or cheering in the stands with Essilor lenses, you'll see every exciting play. Book an appointment at your local Essilor experts and see what Essilor can do for you. See more, do more. Essilor here on Talking Cowboys. It's a Friday edition. Say it with your chest, as always. We got predictions coming up here in about maybe 10, 15 minutes or so.
Do we have records too?
I have the updated records as well. I don't think you're going to like them very much, Isaiah. So,
are they legitimate, or are you cooking the books?
No, I'm not cooking anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not cooking anything. You can go back and check it. You can go back and check it. Don't worry. It's been, yes, you're right. It has been a little bit, but I'm not cooking. I'm staying firm in the records. Don't worry. Anyways,
almost full discretion.
I'll open it up for you. Mention this going into the break, and kind of want to talk about this specifically because we've debated Gilbert Dalton and whether or not you think that they could get wins in the NFL and lead this team to victories and maybe even a playoff push in the NFC East. That's what you got to work with, is Gilbert or Dalton. And so Dalton has been named the starter. We heard from him yesterday, Rob, and he actually went into quite a bit on COVID-19 and actually how he had COVID-19, still dealing with a loss of sense of taste and smell is what he talked about. And then also he just kind of mentioned the frustrations of that coming on the back heels of his concussion. How ready do you think Andy Dalton is after what has been, in his words, a crazy 3 weeks?
He says he's had a good week of practice. Mike McCarthy said that too. I think his conditioning has to be something, he's got to get that back up, and he's also just got to get his rhythm back and his timing back. But I think a full week of practice can help with that, as much of a veteran as he is. You're right. It was just crazy for him because he still had to pass concussion protocol, but he couldn't do it until he got cleared from COVID and got to be back in the building to do that. So it's just been something constantly. His wife got COVID as well, he said, as well as one of his sons. Everybody's okay now. So I think now he can just kind of focus in on what he needs to do. And I think more than anything for him, like he said, it's probably just, I'm just happy to be out of the house, because he had to quarantine, for a couple weeks to get this thing right.
Isaiah?
No, I felt really bad. I felt really bad for Andy, man, and just everything that he's had to go through the last couple of weeks. Obviously, like you said, the concussion and then coming down with COVID. All of this is serious, man. So many families and so many people have been dealing with this, and my heart and prayers go out to everyone that's dealing with this. But at the same time, in a football sense, I start to ask myself, where's the timing coming? Is this the couple of days that he's going to get to go through practice going to be sufficient for him? He knows the task that he has at hand, and he's going to have to be sharp on Sunday. So just hearing him talk about just developing or getting better through all of the adversity was really important. And for me personally, man, obviously, I've accepted the fact that he's going to start on Sunday, and I want the best for him. But I want to see some of those qualities that we've talked about his ability to read and react and get the ball out of his hand pretty quickly. But, man, it has to go back to Zeke. Zeke hasn't had a 100-yard rush game this season. And this is the one game where it is, teed up for him to have it. So it's very important, man, for this offense to get rolling. And Andy's going to have success as Zeke has success.
I agree. First of all, I'm glad that Andy and his fam are healthy. For everybody, unfortunately, doesn't get to make it out of that the way that he did. So I'm glad he's healthy, and I'm glad that he didn't get anybody else sick within the organization either. Yeah. But he has business to take care of this week, and whether it's enough time or not enough time, regardless, he's a guy. He's a guy coming to this game. He's got to figure it out. I'm one of those guys who thinks things happen for a reason. So I think obviously the concussion was a bad situation, but then you backdoor with the COVID situation. Who knows? Maybe he needed those 2 weeks, right? Maybe he needed those couple weeks to really get his mind wrapped around the fact that, guess what, you are playing this year. We talked a lot this offseason about how he came here really with the expectation of, hey, I'm backing up a guy who's playing for a contract, who's a franchise quarterback, and he's never missed a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come be behind that guy. I told you guys a long time ago he had zero intentions on playing this year. He thought it was going to be a straight, relaxation trip. But and he got hit in the mouth, right, with this situation where he had to step in, and mentally you have to get back in that mode of I'm playing. Right? There's times where it's like the off season. Just imagine in the middle of the off season, somebody hits you up and is like, "Hey, dog, we got a game tomorrow." You'd be like, "Whoa, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet." I think that might have been his mindset at the time, and that's probably not the right thing to say. Nor am I putting that on him to say that I've heard that. But I can foresee that being a situation where he was behind Dak, just chilling. Hey, I'm practicing every week. I'm preparing. But I'm not really. I don't have to work, nothing to worry about, right? And then all of a sudden, crap, I'm the guy. It takes a little bit to get your motors running, right? It takes a little bit to get your motors running. Had to put a little WD-40 on there. So I think that he's had that opportunity now, and I look forward to seeing him play, ball that we expect to come from him.
Yeah, the guy in front of me has never missed an entire series, much less a game up until this season. Yeah, it's another reason it's been a strange year.
Well, and Rob, whenever kind of going off of what Isaiah just said, I mean, it kind of looked like he was caught off guard. I see exactly what you're talking about, Isaiah, because whenever we were talking about Andy Dalton taking over, one of the things we praised was his mobility and how it's kind of an unsung part of his game is the fact that he can move around and he can maneuver through the pocket, and then all of a sudden he goes up against Washington and he goes up against Arizona, and it looks like he doesn't know how to run in the pocket anymore, and he doesn't know how to get out and move around. And I think he might have found himself getting a little bit more comfortable before the concussion actually hit. But Rob, is that something that we might see a little bit more this week, kind of like what we saw from Garrett Gilbert against Pittsburgh, being able to maneuver around the pocket, or is he going to be more conservative?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that too, because Gilbert flashed that mobility, and I think he's been kind of underrated in that aspect throughout his career. He can move around. He did it. He avoided the rush in that Giants game, filling in for Dak after the ankle injury, and we saw a little bit of it. But yeah, I just think more than anything, it's got to be the help around him. The protection, we've talked about it. Washington, Arizona wasn't very good. It didn't seem like he was comfortable back there. It didn't seem like he was trusting it. That's my words. And so, if they can shore that up, and again, like Heck said, establish the running game, maybe there's going to be some favorable boxes this week for Zeke, for Tony Pollard, then I think they've got a chance to be – I think we've got a chance to see more of what Andy Dalton can do than what we saw in 2 starts where they really struggled offensively.
Ekba?
Yeah, just to be fair to Andy Dalton, and if we're judging or making an evaluation based off of the Arizona game and the Washington game, he was completely surrounded. I mean, the Arizona game, Arizona looked like they were playing with 14 men versus our offensive line. And Andy couldn't get anything going. And Budda Baker is probably still dancing around in his head because he was everywhere. So, I hope that over the last couple of weeks, our offensive line is learning to play a lot better. We've got Zach Martin back, so everyone is really hanging their hat on the fact that we got number 70 back. So hopefully that makes the difference for Andy Dalton. But no matter what, he's still going to have to be able to get away from the coverage or the blitz, get on the outside, look down the field. All of those things are going to lead to success for him because he's going to be under pressure no matter what. I mean, we know what we have in our right tackle. We know what we have in our left guard. And so all of those are problem areas for us. And we realize that if we are going to have any success offensively on Sunday, it's going to be with Andy Dalton obviously having to do something outside of the pocket and maybe on the run also.
One thing with Andy Dalton that I want to mention here is the fact that, sure, the offensive line wasn't there, but this is a guy who's a veteran. I mean, this is a guy who came in to take over against New York, and he looked like a veteran, and he was able to drive down the field and was able to have success. He did not play well specifically against Arizona. He did not play well against Washington. I know there were other turnovers in that game that pushed them back a little bit, and basically he was thrown into the fire there as well. But what does Andy Dalton have to do better, specifically in his role, to find a way to get a win against another good team in Minnesota, at least a team that's been playing better in Minnesota, Isaiah? Because Andy Dalton hasn't played like we expected Andy Dalton to play, like no matter what the situation around him has looked like.
No, absolutely right. I mean, everybody knows I was one of Andy Dalton's biggest supporters, right? When he came in the door, and I still am a big supporter of Andy Dalton because I believe in his abilities, I believe in his resume, and he's in a new situation, and I'm looking forward to seeing him show up in that way. We haven't seen that yet. We saw a glimpse of it when he first touched the field, right? When he first touched the field, nobody had any questions. Nobody was complaining about Andy Dalton. Everybody was praising Andy Dalton. Oh, this is the best acquisition we had, and I agreed. I'm like, that's right. That's what we expected out of that guy right there. And then obviously the next two games didn't necessarily go that way for him. And there's, we can say the offensive line, we can say a bunch of things, but at the end of the day, he still has to find a way to be successful amongst all the adversity, amongst all the, the hiccups on the front line. We went over it in the film room of guys not doing their assignments, simple blocking schemes, guys just missing. Quarterback takes a blunt of that, right? Quarterback takes a blunt of that, but it's also the quarterback's responsibility to grab that dude, take him over there, grab the little tablets and show him, hey, this is what we saw. This is what you need to do. We got to figure this out instead of just letting frustration boil over and then everybody gets frustrated. We don't need a frustration corona on the field. We don't need that bouncing around from person to person. Yeah. So he has to figure it out and take accountability for how he's played and go out there and say, fellas, it's a brand new week. I got fresh legs now. I got a fresh mind. My mind is now set as being a starter. I'm the leader of this team now. And guess what? Go prove it.
Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say trust your protection. Go through your reads and just get the ball into the hands of your playmakers and let them go. Because I think we touched on it yesterday. I think there are some matchups for the Cowboys receivers that they can take advantage of. So I think just get the ball to your playmakers. Ben DiNucci did not play well against the Eagles, but his mindset going into the game was really good. He's like, my job's easy. I just got to get the ball to the top three receivers and let them go. And that's the same for Andy Dalton going forward.
Hey guys, like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
True.
So let's see how all of that looks once Andy takes his first hit, right? Because he's going to be under pressure. And, there is no quarterback controversy. Andy's our guy. And let's just see how he maneuvers in this offense. I'm sure that the players know who gives them the best chance to win. And the coaches have chosen Andy to be that guy. So, again, that frustration spreading amongst the team, I hope that doesn't happen. And I want him to have some success. We need to have some success because if we get a victory Sunday, we know what we have coming up Thursday, not to get ahead. But all of these things are relative as far as trying to make a push or having any hope of actually making the postseason.
Things are going to continue to get tougher for the Cowboys. They get tougher this week, but Andy Dalton's going to have to step up and have his best game of the season so far by quite a bit, actually, if he's going to even have a chance to beat the Vikings. Whether you're listening to music while you work out, watching highlights, or trading fantasy draft players, Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds let you experience audio in a whole new way. Bose Quiet Comfort earbuds are the official earbuds of the Dallas Cowboys. When we come back, Heckma has closed the gap. We'll give you a standings update, and it's prediction time on Talkin Cowboys. It's Say It With Your Chest Friday. Bring your predictions as well. We'll predict all the weekend's games when we return on the other side of the break.
We're back with a tasty treat that's sweeping airwaves and taste buds. It's new Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda. Let's take a listen.
Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda's here. A new combo that's music to my ears, okay. Let's play. Cream soda and Dr. Pepper time. Pour it in a glass of ice.
Music to my ears and mouth. New Dr. Pepper and Cream Soda.
A delicious duet.
There's nothing as unique as our eyes, which is why Essilor pioneers ways to make lenses as unique as you. Verilux for super sharp vision, Essential Blue for protection, and Crizal for freedom from glare. 3 cutting-edge solutions in a single unique lens. So whatever your needs, insist on Essilor. Visit your local Essilor experts and find the perfect lens for you. See more, do more, Essilor.
The Cowboys way, where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like. Where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day. Where we are all defined by one single thing, the star. Where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Dear, it's 1908. Don't you think we should get electricity?
And stop using candles to see at night.
It's just electricity lights up the room fast. It's more reliable than candles blowing out, and people seem to love it nationwide.
Well, candles are...
Dear, did you just run into the wall?
Nope. May I have a new candle, please?
Historically, switching to new technology is a no-brainer. Today, it's AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure, and nationwide. Switch to AT&T 5G. It's not complicated. 5G requires compatible plan. May not be in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear Heckma Harrison introduce Say It With Your Chest Friday once again with that sultry voice. Heckma, lead us into prediction segment here on Talkin' Cowboys.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment that you've all been waiting for. Talking Cowboys, say it with your chest.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Man, I'm telling you, dog.
Bring the
Somebody
energy.
hired me for that, man.
I know. Somebody give this man a phone call. He's on Twitter at Heckma_Harrison. It's Say It With Your Chest Friday here on Talking Cowboys.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
It's so good. So good. Anyways, we've got some standings to update, and Mr. Heckma Harrison has closed the gap a little bit on our man leading the way. 2 weeks ago when we last updated the standings, he was 5 games back. He is now 4 games back, but still in last place at 16-16. So he has closed the gap on Rob Phillips, who leads the way. God. Rob is 20-12, a very nice record for the Cowboys insider.
That's crazy.
The veteran
Go
of
Giants.
the group, just taking things out. Then, yeah, he did get that Giants pick, and I hate him for it. Isaiah Stanback, 19-13. He's a game back from Rob, and I am 3 games back from Rob at 17-15. That's where we stand right now, heading into
Rob P.
Week 11.
It's a long season.
It is a very
up to Rob P. Island.
Very long season.
Up to Rob P. Island.
So we've got some games to predict this week in terms of the NFL across the board. We saw the Seahawks win last night. That was a pretty interesting game. But we're going to start things off in Baltimore. Titans on the road against the Ravens. Both teams 6-3. Baltimore has allowed just over 18 points per game this season. That's the fewest in the NFL. Isaiah, start us off. Ravens, Titans.
Be more.
Baltimore for Isaiah.
That's it.
Heckma?
I'm going Titans.
He's trying to make up ground. He's trying to make up ground.
Titans. I think Baltimore's got a problem offensively, so definitely going Titans.
Okay.
You're right. They do. They do, but I think they still get back on track at home this week. I'll go be more.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go with Baltimore, too, reluctantly, because I think the Titans could very easily win this game because of the struggles of Baltimore, but I'm still going to take the Ravens. Okay, here's a fun one because of how poor these teams have played this year, and because I think it's unpredictable. Cincinnati and the Bengals on the road against the Washington football team. Matchup between 2020 top 2 overall picks, Joe Burrow and Chase Young playing against each other. Bengals on the road against the football team. I'll start it off. I'm going to pick Cincinnati to take down our NFC East rival, and Washington's going to be 2-8 heading into the Thanksgiving battle at AT&T Stadium. Rob, who you got?
Give me the football team with their defensive front, and they're playing better offensively, too. I'll take them at home.
Okay. Heckma?
This is another one of those toilet bowl games.
Somewhere a toilet flushed.
Jeez, man.
Are we really talking about toilet balls? Are we really talking about toilet balls?
Man, this is crazy. Okay, I'm going to go with the football team, reluctantly.
Okay. Isaiah?
I can't pick a team that doesn't have a name. It's impossible. How you pick a team that doesn't have a name? So I'm going with the guys that are cats. I'm going with the Cats this week.
I like it. Okay.
At some point, Burrow is going to have one of those Burrow games.
Oh, so he's just going to go off.
It might be this week.
I think it will be this week. I think it's going to be fun to watch. That's one game that even though there's a combined 4 wins between the two teams, I'm going to stop down and watch it because I feel like that's going to be fun to see Chase Young chase around Joe Burrow. Anyways, Packers against the Colts on the road. The Packers. Then you've got Indianapolis, who's allowed 290 total yards per game this season. That is the fewest in the NFL defensively. Colts at 6-3, Packers at 7-2. Heckma, start us off.
Packer. I'm going Pack.
Pack attack for Heckma. Isaiah.
Yep.
I can never go against my guy AA, Ron.
I'm going to pick Green Bay as well. Rob. Uh-oh. I wonder if we lost Rob.
I
think we did. I think we lost Rob. So we're going to give Rob the Colts there and let him just be on an island. No, I'm just kidding. We'll get his pick here in a minute. Let's go. We'll move on a game, and we'll go back and get Rob's picks here in a second when he rejoins us. Chiefs on the road against the Raiders. Kansas City won 14 of their last 15 games. Their only loss, though, came to these Las Vegas Raiders, and now the Vegas Raiders get them at home. I'm going to take Chiefs by quite a bit because I think they want that revenge over that one loss in 15 games. Heckma.
Man, it's a tough one. I mean, because Vegas served them. I'm going Chiefs. Chiefs. Yep.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I'm going KC in the place to be. If I'm not mistaken, I think that Oakland. I think they are not. Wow, I can't say Oakland. Jeez, Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas disrespected them. Didn't they dance on them or something like that? Something crazy.
Yep.
So when you get disrespected like that, you best believe Andy Reid's going to come bring that fire back.
Rob, are you back with us? I just saw you give a thumbs up.
I am back. Sorry about that, fellas. What did I miss?
So you missed
about Vegas?
So we're doing.
I want to go to Vegas.
Chiefs and
take me with you.
Let's do a Vegas show for the Talkin Cowboys. I like that Vegas road trip. Chiefs and Raiders is the game we were picking here, and then we'll go back and get one for you here.
Pat Mahomes, Chiefs.
Okay, so Chiefs in that one across the board. Packers, Colts was the other one that we needed from you, Rob.
Aaron Rodgers, Packers.
Okay, so Packers across the board there. So we're going to give one more just because I think we've picked a lot of the same teams. Rams on the road against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers coming off of that embarrassing loss to New Orleans. Both teams with just 3 losses this season. The Rams allowed 18.7 points per game, second fewest in the NFL behind only Baltimore. Isaiah, Rams, Bucks, who you got?
I'm going with my ex-teammate, TB12.
No, you do not expect for him to ever pick against Tom Brady.
That's true. It's like him picking against Seattle.
He has a shrine in his house to Tom Brady. So
no.
Tom.
They're playing well together. And they have a lot
they
of
lost
weapons,
38-3 last week. What do you mean they're playing well together?
They bounced back, though. They bounced back. TB12 doesn't lose 2 games in a row like that. It just doesn't happen. So
okay.
He doesn't lose too.
Heckma, who you got?
Man, I believe that the Rams, both of these defenses are stout, man. But something tells me that Aaron Donald is going to feast this game, and so I'm going Rams.
Rob.
Yeah, I'm going against what I normally do, and that's I don't pick against Tom Brady, but I like the way the Rams have been playing just all across the board. Complete team, defensively, they like you said, Kyle, they are so strong.
Yep.
I'll take them in this game.
I really do like the Rams here, but I'm gonna take the Buccaneers to bounce back. Even though I just made fun of Isaiah for making that pick, I think Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers figure it out and get back on track. Okay, got a couple minutes left. Here we go. Cowboys on the road against the Vikings. Who wants to go first in this one? And will anybody pick the Cowboys this week? Heckma, how about you start us off?
Yeah, Heckma, start us off.
This is going to be a tough one, guys. And bye week, Bye week, I'll include it in it. Yeah. But I got to go with the Vikings, man. I don't think that we've made that many strides, and Andy Dalton's going to be under pressure. So, yeah, I'm going Vikings.
Are you picking against? Wow.
That was probably
we're
the
not
cleanest.
on Tostitos Plaza, so
yeah. I guess we're not on Tostitos Plaza,
Robbie. Take all the emotion out of it, Isaiah. How about that? Hey, you see that?
You're learning, Daniel-san. It's strong with you.
Isaiah.
I'm gonna go with them boys this week, man.
Whoa!
I'm gonna go with them boys. I feel good. I feel good about them and their ability to build upon their most recent momentum. I think their defense is playing better. I'm hoping that they can be disciplined on that side of the ball. And I think offensively, I think this is the game they figure it out.
I cannot believe that just happened. I mean, I'm shocked over here.
Oh, yeah.
I love it, though. I love it. You say it with your chest. You got to do what you got to do. Okay,
yeah,
Rob.
I did.
What you got?
I thought I was going to be on Rob P. Island picking the Vikings, but I'm going with Minnesota because I think the way they're playing right now is just really good. But I think this is going to be the best game of the season for the Cowboys in terms of best game we've seen. It's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as sloppy as we've seen because you guys are right. Like, they're starting to figure it out. But I'll take Dalvin Cook and, in a close game, like 26-24 Minnesota.
I like that.
How's that the best game we played? If we're going to play the best game we play in a loss, come on.
Well, I mean the last game was the best game they played.
And a loss last week. Yeah, exactly. So I'm right there with you. Now, I agree with you. My head right here says to pick the Vikings. My head says let's pick the Vikings and let's go with Minnesota. But the great Michael Scott of The Office once said, no doubt about it, I'm ready to get hurt again. And I've got a gut feeling this week that the Cowboys are going to pull it out and that they're going to find a way to get a victory. Andy Dalton's going to show what we expected Andy Dalton to show, and he's not going to look like he did against Arizona. He's not going to look like what he did against Washington. This offensive line's going to play better, and we're all going to be happy come Monday, and it's going to be a victory Monday here at the Star in Frisco. Yes?
Didn't you say you would never pick the Cowboys?
I did, and like I said, I'm ready to get hurt again.
Yes,
I am so ready for.
You better change your pick, Isaiah.
I am so ready to get hurt one more time. But I've got the gut feeling, and I'm saying it with my chest as well.
You got the bubble guts.
You got a virtual
crying in the shower.
Bubble guts? No, this isn't bubble guts. Don't worry, we're good without that right now. But we'll fist pump through.
I'm glad you're in the studio by yourself today.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. That's going to do it here for Talking Cowboys here on Week 11. We'll be back to break it all down, win or lose, come Monday at 9:30 in the SWBC Mortgage Studios. Want to thank everybody for being along for the ride throughout the week. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow, and keep up to date with everything Dallas Cowboys on DallasCowboys.com. For Chris Beam in the back, for Heckma Harrison, Isaiah Stanback, and Rob Phillips, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long. We'll see you next week on Talking Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?